Hey guys, it's Jeremy here on Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. As you can see from the title of the video and the thumbnail, what I'm going to be doing today, guys, is a ranking of the albums. I've been meaning to do more of these in the channel, so I'm going to start doing those now. And I figured what band better to do than the mighty Iron Maiden. Fucking love Iron Maiden. They have a big discography, 17 albums in total, and I actually do have them all on physical copy, which is awesome, so I'll use the CDs for the video. Most bands, when there's like 15 plus albums in a discography, there's always like 3 or 4 that I don't quite have yet. But Maiden, I actually have them all up to date, which is pretty sweet. I remember years ago, HMV, when it was still around in Canada, had some deal for like 2 for $15 back in the day for like Maiden albums. So I pretty much bought up whatever I didn't already have. God, I wish CD prices were like that now. It's so expensive. But let's jump right in, guys. So 17 albums to get through. I'm going to rank them from worst to best. Not going to say too much about each album. I'm just kind of going to go through them. I don't want the video to be too long. So number 17, I have Virtual 11. One of the albums with Blaze Bayley on the vocals. It's not horrible per se. I just don't think his voice suits the band, in my opinion. He's a good singer on his own right, but I just don't think he was a good match for Maiden. As you can tell, this doesn't have a single scuff on. It's like brand new. I think I might have listened to this maybe twice since I owned it, like 15 years ago. And yeah, it's just an album. The Klansman's really good when they do it live with Bruce. But other than that, I don't think Blaze suits the band, in my opinion. At number 16, I went with the other Blaze Bayley album, The X Factor. I like this one a little bit better. I think the songwriting was more geared towards Bayley's vocals. And then on the other album, they kind of went back to Bruce-style songs, and it just didn't work at all. This one's a little bit better. The songs are more memorable, in my opinion, a little bit darker, a little bit heavier, and just a little bit better overall. So number 15, I have Final Frontier. Hate this album cover. I know what Eddie's supposed to be going on here. It looks stupid, in my opinion. I like the first song, the title track, The Satellite Is the Final Frontier. Pretty solid track, and then the rest of the album kind of was a miss for me. I just didn't like it as much, not very memorable, and I haven't been listening to this at all. It's a very unforgettable album, or forgettable album, I should say. And yeah, it's just one I just never listened to, so I decided to put it at number 15. At number 14, I went with No Prayer for the Living. Another album cover I'm not a big fan of Maiden. They have some really iconic covers, but this one I still never liked. Again, this is another album that didn't really have a lot of songs that stood out to me. It's a decent album. It's got some okay tracks, but it's not one I ever reach for when I want to listen to Maiden. It's just kind of one that gets lost in the mix, so I put it down further on the list. At number 13, I believe, 17, 16. Yes, 13, I have Dance of Death. It's an okay album. Rainmaker's not bad. Dance of Death, the title track's not bad. Wildest Dreams is okay. I fucking hate the album cover. I don't like the color scheme on it. The characters on it, I'm not sure what the hell's going on in this cover. But it's just an okay album, nothing great. Definitely one of the weaker ones in Maiden's catalog, in my opinion. That's why it's lower on the list. And it's number 13. At number 12, I have Fear of the Dark. This is, in my opinion, actually an underrated album. I do like it quite a bit. I love the title track. It's one of the better live tracks they still use to this day. It's really iconic. I think the production on this album just really hurts it. I think the songs are decent. I think the production just kind of brings it down. It doesn't really match. It should be a little bit heavier, a little bit ballsier. It's a little bit thin on the production. That's why it kind of never really ranks a little bit higher, in my opinion. But with better production, this definitely would have been, I think, a little bit higher in the list. At number 11, I have one of the more recent ones, Book of Souls. This is their double album, second to last, the 16th studio album. This is a good album. I really like it, but I think it's a little too long. The songs kind of drag out. They have some good songs still. They bring you on a journey, some great riffing, good solos, good vocals from Bruce. I find the album just overall a little bit long, and near the end of the album, it kind of you get more fatigued, kind of listening to it. But overall, pretty solid album in the middle of the pack. Not too bad at all. Definitely check it out. At number 10, I have the newest one, Shinzitsu. Um, Really good album. I really enjoyed this album. It kind of got mixed reviews when it first came out. I think the songs are pretty good, but it kind of suffers from the same thing as Book of Souls. So it's just a little bit too long. Too many intros in all the songs. Too many. Yeah, the intros are like 2 or 3 minutes. Too many outros. Like they need to edit it down to be a little bit shorter. I think it's 82 minutes in length. This album, if at like 65 minutes, would be pretty a sweet spot. Love the album artwork on this one. The black and red, really sweet. Love the illustration and everything. That's really solid. I just wish it was a little bit more edited down to be more compact, but still good songs. Great guitar work, and some good memorable songs. I like this a lot. At number 9, it's A Matter of Life and Death. I love this album cover. Really awesome cover. This is in the latter period of Maiden. This is definitely one of the more memorable ones. It kind of gets lost in the shuffle for most people, but I find it to be a really strong album. Every time I put it on, I always forget how good it is. And I listened to it recently to do this ranking, and it's just some really solid stuff. Different World, These Colors Don't Run, Out of the Shadows, Lord of Light, the whole thing, Pilgrim. The whole thing is just pretty solid top to bottom. Really solid listen. Not too many weak tracks, but a really good listen. And number 8, I think we're at, Brave New World. Definitely one of the best comeback albums of all time in metal history. This is when Bruce rejoined the band after leaving. Really solid album. The Wicker Man, the title track, Ghost of the Navigator. Just top to bottom, this is a really good album. Great musicianship on this. Production is killer. Just a really, really strong album. Most people would cite this as their best album since Bruce returned. I'd probably agree. I believe this is the only one. I think the rest of the first 7. So yeah, this is my opinion their best album since Bruce returned. And then at number 7, so my 7, no surprise, are the first 7 albums. Like I said, in my opinion, are all masterpieces. And number 7 is the 7th studio album, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. This might be my favorite Iron Maiden cover. I love the color in this. I love the illustration. Moonchild, Can I Play with Madness, Only If I Die Young, the title track. Just a really solid album, really good stuff. They started playing around with more synthesizer noises in this one, but it's still a really solid album. Love this album, really good. And number 6, I have actually the 6th studio album, which is Somewhere in Time. Really cool album cover. Every time you look at it, you kind of see something different. You catch these little Easter eggs in there. But with Caught Somewhere in Time, Wasted Years, Alexander the Great, Heaven Can Wait, really good, really solid album top to bottom. I don't listen to this quite as much as with some of the other ones, but it's really solid. I put it on every so often. I never get disappointed. At number 6, this might be surprising to some people at number 6, but Killers, their second album with Django on vocals. I'm drawing a blank. The first vocalist, I'm drawing a blank on his last name for some reason. But really solid album. Wrathchild is really killer. Drifter's good. Killers, the title track. Genghis Khan. Just really good stuff on here. Killer artwork, one of their more iconic album covers of all time. Really good stuff. Paul Di'Anno, that's the name. Sorry, I was blanking there for a minute. But really solid stuff, more on the punky side, but really cool stuff. And at number 4, I have Peace of Mind. Really strong album. Where the Eagles Dare is one of the best opening tracks they ever had. Revelations, The Troopers, iconic, one of their best songs. Quest for Fires, one of the weaker song on this album. But overall, killer album, easy 9 out of 10. Killer artwork as well, iconic. And you can't go wrong with this album. If you're new to Maiden, definitely check this out. And number 3, I have the debut album, just entitled Iron Maiden. I put this above the other Di'Anno album. I find I just go back to this one more, and I like the singles on it more, I like the songs. Prowler, Phantom of the Opera has always been one of my favorite Maiden songs. The title track is amazing. And yeah, Sanctuary is really good. Just some songs in here I just prefer more over the songs on Peace of Mind or Killers. I tend to go back to this one a lot more. It's definitely one of my go-to Maiden albums in their discography. At number 2, I have Power Slave. Had a brain fart there for a minute. Killer album cover, one of their iconic album covers. Killer opening with Aces High, one of the best openers on any of their albums. Minutes to Midnight is on there as well. Power Slave, Rhyme of the Ancient Marrier is probably their best all-time epic that they've ever released, in my opinion. Solid killer album, easy 10 out of 10 album. Definitely check this out if you're not familiar with them. If you're newer to the metal world, Power Slave, Killer. Definitely an album that's on the top 10 for a lot of people. I find most people have like Power Slave, Peace of Mind, and like Number of the Beast and Killers. Like those 4 are usually people's number 1. But yeah, they're all really solid. But Power Slave, Killer album number 2. And as you might have guessed, my number 1 is Number of the Beast. Always been my number 1 favorite Maiden album. Top to bottom, it's like a greatest hits. Invaders is a killer opening track. Children of the Damned, The Prisoner, 22 Acacia Avenue, The Number of the Beast, a title track, Run to the Hills, Gangland, and then Total Eclipse is the bonus track, and then Hallowed Be Thy Name, the greatest epic live. It's such a good song. Like top to bottom, these songs are just all masterpieces and iconic. Was always my number 1 Maiden album. Once I finally do get this room set up, I'm going to definitely get a poster to put up on the wall for this album. I want to get a poster of this. But yeah, just a really iconic cover, iconic album. Bruce is fresh in the band, sounds amazing. And just awesome album. Easy number 1 for me. So guys, I appreciate you watching the video. List down below what your top Maiden albums would be, or give a full ranking if you want in the comments. I'm always interested to see people's opinions and what they put at number 1. I have seen the odd person put Somewhere in Time and even Seventh Son of a Seventh Son at number 1. But I usually see the 3 or 4 of them that are usually number 1 for most people. But let me know what you thought of my ranking, and if there's any other bands I should do a ranking for next. I might do, I'm not sure yet. I did Metallica and Merciful Fate. I might do Judas Priest coming up soon, but I haven't decided yet. But I'll look into my CDs. Testament's another one I've been wanting to do. Love Testament or Opeth. Opeth's my favorite band. I should do them as well. But list down below any bands I should do ranking for. And until next time, guys, keep it metal.